I've been keeping a close eye on what's happening over in France because it's kind of been ground zero of the reemergence of Islamic terrorism, to be completely honest. Beheadings, stabbings, shootings, everything that you could think of, except for the Truck of Peace. It hasn't made an appearance yet, but Macron has really grown a spine. He's one of the few leaders out there right now in the world who's actually taking, well, the resurgence of this as a very personal attack based on what the fuck he's actually been doing. I can stand for most of the stuff that he's been doing. It's actually asserting some sort of an authority and not letting the normally weak country of France, sorry French viewers, none of you, not letting it fall to fucking Islamic terrorism, even though I don't necessarily agree with some of his tactics. But first, we'll give you an update what's happening now in a little bit, but we got to do the backstory first, of course. So France's Macron asks Muslim leaders to back Republican values charter. Not like Trump Republican, not like old school Mitt Romney Republicans. This is the Republic of France. I love the way the BBC likes to frame this and immediately wants to scare you off from the story. But yeah, I don't know. I read a little bit further in than just the first couple of paragraphs. So BBC, you're going to have to work a little bit harder than that, guys. French President Emmanuel Macron has asked Muslim leaders to agree to a charter of Republican values as a broad clampdown on radical Islam. I was going to say Islamism there. That's why it sounded a little funny. On Wednesday, he gave the French Council of the Muslim Faith 15 days to work with the Interior Ministry. The CFCM has agreed to create a National Council of Imams, which will reportedly issue imams with official accreditation, which could be withdrawn. It follows 3 suspended Islamist terrorist attacks. Oh, suspected? Come on now, they were shouting fucking Allahu Akbar. What do you think? No, they were just holding prayers in the streets along with heads severed from their bodies. In a little more than a month, the charter will state that Islam is a religion and not a political movement. Yes, even though that there is explicit doctrines in the Quran which can apply it to a governmental principle. Has anybody else heard of Sharia law? Yeah, it's right in there. They have the doctrines of it. But guess what? France is a republic, and it will stay that way because we don't need a relapse of the French Revolution, because boy, was that bloody. The charter will state that Islam is a religion and not a political movement, while also prohibiting foreign interference in Muslim groups. I love the sentiment here. It is strong, but like I said before, a couple of the rulings and rules that he's asking them to live by is a bit strong even for my taste. Mr. Macron has strongly defended French secularism in the wake of the attacks, which included the beheading of a teacher who showed cartoons. I would love to just end it there, but does it really make it better that they were about the Prophet Muhammad during a class discussion? That's why censorship is so fucking terrible, people. You push it underground, you radicalize more people that way. Late on Wednesday, the president and his interior minister, Gérald Darmanin, French, met 8 CFCM leaders in the Élysée Palace. 2 principles will be inscribed in black and white in the charter: the rejection of the political Islam and any foreign interference, one source told La Parisian newspaper after the meeting. The formation of the National Council of Imams was also agreed upon, because they don't want to get fucking kicked out, I suppose. President Macron has announced new measures that would to tackle what he called Islamic separatism in France. You love the phrasing. I can't believe Macron is becoming one of the more, I don't know, fucking authoritarian style dictators. I understand he still has a, democratic parliament and everything, and I'm just being hyperbolic for the sake of it, guys. Come on now. So here's what he's proposing: restriction on homeschooling and harsher punishment for those who intimidate public officials on religious grounds. I don't mind that whatsoever. Extending to all children a national identification number. That would be used under the law to ensure they are attending school. I don't know about that. That's sounding awfully Kamala Harris-y, where she's going to charge people for truancy. Well, that's what she did back there in California. So, it's not like people's values continue on with them throughout their entire working life. These numbers already exist inside the school system, but would also include homeschooled children, and those in some private schools. Parents who break the law could face up to 6 months in jail, as well as large fines. I hate that. I hate that a lot. A ban on sharing the personal information of a person in a way that allows them to be located by people who do not want to harm them. And I love that. because people who are doing their job and following the Constitution, there's a big difference between these stupid police officers that are enforcing these unconstitutional lockdowns and, if you're showing, a cartoon and then you end up with your head removed from your shoulders a couple of weeks later, there's a big difference there. You shouldn't be sharing that information, even if they are public officials. Like, public officials have public have public phone numbers, public emails, and ways that you can get in touch with them that doesn't involve revealing where they live or their immediate family as well, which does happen often, by the way. So you compound this with a new set of rules that Macron put in place, and France has been burning for a couple of days, in case you guys haven't noticed. Protesters clash with police over new security law. Tens of thousands demonstrate nationwide against security legislation that would restrict sharing images of police. Okay, police and demonstrators have clashed in Paris as tens of thousands took to the street to protest against new security legislation, a controversy intensified by the beating and racial abuse of a black man. Oh my God, I'm sure he was probably, as innocent as the day is long, right? By officers that shocked France. The demonstrations against the security law, which would restrict the police officers' faces, took place nationwide on Saturday with 46,000 marching in Paris, according to the government, and several fires erupted after clashes. Well, if they were just doing actual peaceful protesting and not mostly peaceful, but fiery protests, they probably wouldn't be getting their asses kicked right now. The case of abuse shocked France with celebrity. Oh, you know that it's always a matter of national security when celebrities have to weigh in and politicians alike condemning the officers' actions, and has brought the debate over President Emmanuel Macron's law to a boiling point. Macron on Friday called the incident an unacceptable attack and asked the government to come up with a proposal to fight against discrimination. So, of course, he's backing down as usual. He said the images of beating the black music producer Michel Zecler by police officers in Paris last weekend shame us. The incident has magnified concerns about alleged systemic racism in the police force. Of course. I don't know what this dude did, okay? I can't really level any accusations because it's next to impossible to find any kind of concrete evidence when it comes to this sort of thing. So until we get evidence out there, it's really hard to justify, rioting, burning, looting. We'll get to that in a second, but I want to finish this so we get proper context. There were tensions in Paris as a car, newspaper kiosk, and brassiere were set on fire close to the Place de la Bastille. Police said some protesters threw stones at security forces while responding to the firing tear gas. An AFP correspondent said police complained that protesters were impeding fire services from putting out the blazes and said 9 people had been detained by early evening, but Al Jazeera's Nachar Butler, reporting from Paris, said those were relatively minor incidents. You love to see it in what was a very peaceful protest. Okay, Al Jazeera itself, how many? Okay, that one probably peaceful. Making a ruckus, sure. That peaceful? That peaceful. Huh. Okay, whatever you want to do. How about the fire in the background? How about French people putting up "All cops are bastards" flyers in the background? How about that? Or, fuck it. How about all of that happening in Paris? Rider who tries to block the path of a police water cannon at the police riot is dragged out by the way of the officers. Mass anti-police violence broke out in Paris against the new security law and alleged racism. Not even proven racism, but you know what? If they're going to act up and try to destroy a water cannon, vehicle, I don't know, some heavily armored piece of material there. Anyways, scenes of intense violence today in Paris as rioters attack police. Mass protests have erupted again against a new security law which bans taking images of law enforcement officers because that would contravene with, some of the other Islamic rules that were going in place by Macron there with when it comes to doxing people for all intents and purposes. Person in black bloc on the ground in Paris riot today is dragged away by police. Yep, guess what? You fuck around, you get fucked up. And that's what we're seeing here. And we're not even done yet because this is the mostly peaceful protest in action, as you can see. I don't know how racist that Baron Stark is, but apparently, oh boy, it's getting quite a punishment for its sins. And still, once again, showing you how not violent whatsoever all of that was. Yep, that firebomb had nothing to do with, trying to curb racism. Merely, they were just trying to get their own ass kicking because their father wasn't there for them. So yeah, Macron is cracking heads when it comes to Islam. But when it comes to racism with black people, he seems to be as affected as he always has been. It's weird, right? It's weird how somebody can be so almost correct because, well, you don't really want to start ascribing ID numbers to people because that's a little Auschwitzy for my tastes. But setting up proper anti-doxing laws is probably a good thing if they aren't already on the books. I'm not too sure of the French Constitution or their Charter of Rights, whatever they want to call the founding document. But honestly, a country as open as that and has gone through a full revolution to still, just try to shoehorn in your racism values. I don't know, dudes. It's not fucking holding too much water in my opinion because I've seen this play out before. Oh, they just shot that unarmed black guy. Oh, he actually had a knife. Oh, there was nothing. He didn't have it on him. Actually, he did have it on him and he was fighting with the police officers. Oh, well, racist. Yeah, exactly. So, unless we get some concrete evidence of what actually fucking happened to spark this all off, this just looks like a overly emotional temper tantrum because a bunch of people that have been cooped up because of the coof and just want to fucking get out there and fuck some shit up, for lack of a better term, I suppose. But unless something happens tomorrow, today, I don't know how time zones work over there in Paris anyways, but something happens over there, I'll be covering it again. But yeah, Paris is on fire. Weird rules. And who the fuck knows what Macron's doing day to day. Still has a more clear edict than most other European leaders, so can't fault him too much. Thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.